Welcome to Flipping Miami, a podcast for those who want to learn real estate investing, do more, and make more. Now, here is your host, Raul Bolufe.
All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome. This is another episode of Flipping Miami. I don't know what episode I'm in now. Probably like 21 or something. So, but yeah, I'm excited. I got Mike Cowper. Did I say it right?
Cowper.
Mike Cowper on the other side. Super cool dude from Detroit, Michigan, flipping a ton of homes. He's in the middle of like starting a mastermind. Him and his team flip over 100 homes a year, wholesale. So he's got a lot of knowledge and a ton of experience. And I'm pretty excited to dive in there. So, Mike, thanks for coming on, bro.
Yeah, absolutely, Raul. I appreciate being invited on, and I'm really excited to talk to you and your guests. Help out any way that I can.
I love it, dude. Yeah, man, I'm super passionate. We were just talking now. I'm super passionate about having people who are actually doing stuff and also live cool lives, right? Like actually, have enough time to spend, doing what they like, reading, being with their family, traveling, whatever you want, right? And that's what business and sometimes wholesale real estate can be good for. So I want to dive deep on that in a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what I think sometimes people lose sight of is, right, why you get into the business. And a lot of that focus on, right, you get into it to try and create freedom for yourself. You get into it to be able to live a better life. But I've been guilty of this. I would bet and wager that almost everybody is guilty of this. You get deep into the weeds, you get into the business, you never come up for air. And then you turn around and you're like, what? I could have worked a 9 to 5 and, had more of my own freedom, right? What is it the saying? Like an entrepreneur is the one that'll, trade in a 40-hour work week for an 80-hour work week and be the worst boss on the planet.
Yeah. No, it's so easy to lose sight too, because I think like the path is very narrow of somebody who it takes a lot of discipline. But yeah, we'll jump into that now. If you guys are listening to this on iTunes, don't forget to subscribe. If you're listening to this or watching this on YouTube, click the bell or whatever button they have nowadays to subscribe and get notifications. Anyway, so let's get into it.
Also, let me help out. Make sure you rate and review. I heard that's huge for podcaster and helping getting them noticed and on the trending charts. So do him a favor, please. Love
it. Thanks, bro. So, dude, I always like to go back and take it old school. Who was Mike like in high school when you were 15, 16 years old? If we would have met, what kind of kid were you? Like, were you shy? Like, were you playing sports? Were you good in school? Like, who was Mike back in the day, 15, 16 years old?
Wow. This is the first time I think I've been asked that. Back in high school, I wouldn't say I was necessarily shy. I believe I started off that way, but I kind of evolved as I kind of went from, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. As I was growing up, I learned to be more comfortable socializing with people, being friendly with people. I was just trying to have a nice, large community of friends. So over the term of high school, I think people would say I started off shy and quiet, and I kind of evolved over time. I was always was big into basketball. So played sports, primarily football and basketball for my freshman, sophomore, and junior year. After my junior year, I didn't play football anymore because I wanted to focus on basketball. Was a starter on the basketball team, the varsity team my sophomore year, captain, MVP the remaining years. And then ultimately I got to play some D3 basketball for a year. So I was really focused on, school and sports for the most part. And then I had a really close group of friends that I probably spent most of my time with that were, either basketball players or, people that I just kind of really connected well with in school and class.
And were you like an achiever? Were you getting good grades, or were you kind of just like getting by and playing sports?
No, I mean, I think I almost had a 4.0 average. My parents always really pushed me to make sure I was smart about being smart and doing at least the work. My thought, and I realized it pretty early on, is if you just do the work, it's pretty hard to not get a decent grade. Yeah,
at least trying to do the work, right? Like if you actually sit there and try to do your homework for like an hour a day or whatever, you're just going to get pretty smart just trying that shit, And
I think that's really what it is, right? I think having that push from my parents and just kind of focusing on that and the discipline of sports and then focusing that discipline on being in the academic part of it. I think it kind of, thinking back on it now, I'm like, I wonder if that's really where a lot of the discipline I've been able to curate over my life has come from, right? It's that seed that was planted early and kind of grew and then became a habit.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, dude. So So you're in high school, right? You're playing sports. You're doing well in school. What was your like aspiration? Like, what did you want to be? Like, you're 16 years old. What did you think you wanted to do for the future?
So it's kind of funny. I always thought I was going to be in real estate at some point.
Oh, really?
Growing up, my dad was an investor in Florida. I grew up a little bit before I moved to Michigan in Jupiter Farms. So so I know you're in Miami, so not super far away, but yeah, grew up there. He was doing real estate then. Always did enough to provide a nice lifestyle for our family. He did a lot of creative things. He would do any and all thing. He never really focused, I think, was part of it. Okay. But he always did well, and he did well enough for all of this. So I kind of saw that. And I think that got me thinking about it. And I'm like, okay, this is a great way to be able to control my life. You know, having rentals, building up that passive income stream. And I didn't know exactly what in real estate I was going to do, but I always knew I wanted rentals because it seemed like I don't have to work if I don't want to, and I could do whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, if I have enough of those. Yeah. So that's something I kind of always wanted to do. But in high school, I was probably looking at I'm going to be somewhere in business. So I kind of focused on that when I got to the college level. Yeah. And I thought I just wanted to be a manager, you know, because in high school, that seems like it's a cool job. Hey, you're a manager of a business manager. So that's probably what I thought. Thinking back, that's probably where I was at then. Just, hey, I'm going to get through. I'm going to be in business, and I want to make sure I'm good at it.
I love that. I always find it so crazy that, like, even thinking back when I was that age and when you're that age, it's like in your mind, like you feel like you should know what you're going to do forever. And then like now you get a little older and you do different things and you're like, man, how am I supposed to know at 16 years old? Like when you know absolutely nothing, even now, I'm 26. I know absolutely nothing. Imagine at 16, I knew way less. How is a human little boy supposed to know like what to do forever? I think it baffles me now that I look back at it.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, your brain's not even I think fully developed till you're 24, 25. So just got over that benchmark.
Yeah. So that's pretty funny, man. So dude, so now you're doing your thing. We'll get into like what your business looks like now, but so you're doing your thing. You've flip you've more than 100 houses a year. So I'm sure you've got a team. I think you told me over 50 rentals. What would you say to people or what would you say to that guy or that girl that is finishing up high school, that has always gotten good grades, kind of knows what they want to do, but they're like not sure how to become wealthy. They're not sure how to become rich, or they're not sure how to live the best life. What would you say to that person as far as like how to move forward, like what to do next?
What helped me a lot, and I think the advice I would offer is try to find people that you think that are doing what you think you might want to be doing, and spend some time shadowing them. Yeah. I spent a lot of time, trying to meet people that were doing things like when I was, in college, I would always go and for like internships, I'd shadow a few different areas. So I always try to figure out ways to stack it up so I could check out a few different areas of the business. When I got into real estate, I found people that were doing it and I shadowed them. I offered to help them for free and do what I could to learn it. The challenge I think for the people that are really good at grades, and I fell into this trap myself, is you learn how to regurgitate information, but it doesn't always mean that you know how to learn or can explain it. So I can take the hell out of a test, but 5 seconds later after that test is completed, it is right out the back door and I've forgotten it already. So everything. So I think learning how to learn is important. And I'm a very hands-on learner. Like I can read a book, get the concept, but it doesn't really lock in until I go and try it. Yeah. And I know that scares a lot of people. And that's where you can shadow other people. You can see it in action. You can help and assist with it in low risk kind of a format where they're going to be your safety net and they're going to help coach and guide you. So I think if you can present to people in the right way, like don't just go, hey, can you be a mentor? Like reach out and say, hey, I'm interested in doing this. Do you have any advice in terms of X? Be kind of specific for what you're looking for, because then that can help really clarify what your mentor potentially could help you with. And I listen to a lot of podcasts, and Tim Ferriss says it well. It's like, maybe you don't have one person that tells you everything. You have a lot of people telling you a lot of little different things. Yep. Right. So I have the different people I reach out to for different aspects of real estate life and all of that I reach out to, and not one single person knows it all. So building that real strong connective tissue of a network is huge.
Yeah, I think that's key, man. That's gold, because you don't have to be in high school to be lost. You could be, 20, 30, 40, 50, 80 and be like kind of lost and want to go somewhere different. And I think a good way to like really focus is just go around the people that are doing the things that you think you want to be doing, right? If you want to get into real estate investing, if you're not hanging around real estate investors that are actually doing stuff, how do you expect to get there? Really, you know, like you can only read so many books. If you're thinking of, you know, being a better basketball player, if you're not hanging around the best ballers in your, you know, in your courts or in school, if you're not going to the best pickup games around there, then how do you really expect to get there?
That's right. I think there's a book called You Can't Learn How to Ride a Bike from a Book, right? You've got to get out there and do it. And it doesn't mean go, you know, gamble your life savings. I mean, some people do and it works. And I'm not saying that's a bad call. It's riskier than I'd like to be personally, but everyone has their own risk tolerance. But there's enough giving people out there that they are willing to share. And sometimes it takes work. Sometimes it takes some time and some patience to do that. But showing up is a big part of it. And a lot of people get stuck in that, well, I don't know enough phase. You're never going to know enough. And you can know every single thing. And then you open up a wall and all the electrical's jacked. Or you run into title issues and you have to figure out how to get quiet title on some lien from a mortgage company that went out of business and they should have released a note. So like, it was something we worked through, but we had a good profit on that assignment because we worked through the whole problem for the person and took it off their hands.
Yeah.
So really, there's a lot of people out there that are willing to help. You just got to put yourself in the right spots and present yourself in a way where you can potentially be a value add to them. And sometimes that value add is people just want to share their knowledge.
Yeah, dude.
Like the old timer that's been doing it.
Yeah, look at these podcasts and YouTube channels just like this. I mean, this is complete like knowledge share between you and I and like almost like open bookness, right? Like I'm just asking you questions, you're answering them. Like back in the day, I mean, I'm younger, but like, so I've kind of always had this, but when I was like 10, you know, if I ever wanted to like see something of like Warren Buffett or something, let's say, like I had to like read an article or something. Now I could just type him up on YouTube and I could see 10 interviews with the guy. And it's like, I feel like he's right there. So I don't know. There's so much resources now for free of information. And it's kind of like no excuse.
There really isn't. And one thing I will caution people on, because I've done this as well, is you can start focusing on too many things and listening to too much stuff. And learning isn't bad. And it's just when you try to implement all of it at once, because that is probably one of my biggest flaws is I love, like, if you've read Traction, I'm that visionary chasing every squirrel and rabbit out there. I need people to keep me in there because I think I can do it all. And then, you know, I look around I'm like, crud, I'm busy as heck again. And I need to I need to cut this shit out. There's a lot of content and stuff out there. And I think sometimes people get overwhelmed. Like, should I do this? I should do that. Pick what you think might fit your personality best and what you are strong at best. And then focus on that. And then you'll learn. And then you'll be a little bit further down the path. And then you can see a little bit further down the path.
Yeah, I like that.
So just keep taking little steps. And then you might decide, like, I thought I was only going to buy rentals. Then I turned into a big wholesaler.
Yeah.
And I'm still buying rentals, but I do more wholesale than I do rental property acquisitions because my buyers will pay more than I will.
Yeah. Fuck it.
Exactly.
All right. Man, I love that. So what does your business look like now, man?
So now we've got a team. We're trying to keep it small because we've done the blow it up, make it really big, try to take over the world. And ultimately I want to go down that path. But again, goes back to taking on too many struggles, too many challenges, and you can't manage it all. Me wanting to be a manager over time, I realized I hate being a manager. I like being a leader. I don't like checking details. I don't like going back on, checking reports, making sure everyone's doing things the way they are because you don't have to check on me. I don't want to have to check on you. Yeah. So we've kind of confined our team to a little bit smaller unit now where we have people answering the phones, a guy going out on appointments, me going out on appointments occasionally because I like to make sure, one, are the leads good or is it a sales issue? How are our phone people setting them up rather than just listening to the call? How is it connecting? So I run some appointments. We got a disposition manager that manages selling our properties. We've got a marketing manager and I've got a partner. And him and I are the ones that kind of started this about 3-4 years ago.
I love it. What's like the top ways you guys are finding deals now?
I mean, direct mail is still it. Direct mail still works. Those old, ugly looking yellow postcards still generate most of our deals. We just make it consistent. I mean, we send out a ton of mailers. I think we're up to like 50 or 60,000 mailers a month right now.
Okay.
We target 3 counties in Metro Detroit. We kind of stay away from the city part of it just because they're so volatile. I mean, there's some definitely great spots and up and coming, but there's other war zones still that I feel more comfortable in the suburbs, and I feel more comfortable sending our people to those areas just because not everyone's comfortable going through those areas. But yeah, letters are still our best generating source. Probably second to that is online advertising, like PPC, pay-per-click. If you're not familiar, it's like a Google AdWord search campaigns. You route them to your website. They click on it. They fill it out. Those are typically some of the most profitable deals because, right, if you're sending out mailers, you're kind of going and initiating them to make a call to you. Whereas online, they're going, I need to sell my house, and they're searching for it. So they're raising their hand and trying to find someone to buy their house. So those leads typically turn out better, but they're also more competitive because once they click 1, they usually start clicking 2 or 3 or 4. So the faster we can get in touch with them, the better likelihood we're going to block out our competition.
Yeah. I love that. So mailer's still a big thing. And you guys you got mail going out, then it calls come into a leads manager.
Mm-hmm.
And then you guys are setting up appointments and going out on appointments face-to-face.
Yes. Still find face-to-face to be the best.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, what's your take on buying deals over the phone?
I think it works, right? There's enough people doing it. It's proven. I mean, my new mastermind partner and, good friend Don Costa does some phone closings in remote markets. It definitely works. If it's a competitive opportunity though, right? If you're not the only person they're talking to, I will beat anybody every single day of the week in person over the phone.
Yeah, I'll say that.
It's just a lot harder to replace the kitchen belly to belly, talking to someone, understanding their situation, reading their responses, reacting to their responses, understanding their situation, having the time for it.
Yeah.
People are much more guarded on the phone.
Yeah. Tonality, everything. I mean, I was just on 3 appointments today and we locked up 2 deals. And killer. But anyways, I don't I've done a ton of phone appointments too. We've locked up deals over the phone. These 2 deals, I don't think we would have done over the phone. It probably would have taken multiple calls is what I'm getting at. This took 1 appointment. The appointment was like an hour long for one of them. So I don't know. I like to hear people's opinions. I'm so open to doing deals over the phone, but I host a meetup here once a month. And some of the newer guys that come in, they're like, oh, but I just want to do deals over the phone. I'm like, look, I think that's fine. I think it's possible, but just understand these are the things. Like, we're going to beat you if you're over the phone and I'm in their kitchen. And I wanted to get your take on it because you've done a ton of deals and I'm sure you've done both. And, I'm not against it. Like I said, I like to get open-minded opinions about it is what I'm getting at.
Here's what my thoughts on it are. Because when we go to different markets and things like that, we're going to probably try to do some phone closing more often than, because locally it's easy to hop in a car. We're basically 30 minutes, 40 minutes max from anywhere in our area because we're centrally located at our office. Yep. But you've got to do a lot more sorting and sifting for phone closes because you've got to find the people that are truly, truly desperate to really do it consistently. And if you're competing in a direct mail space or an online advertising space, that gets incredibly expensive too. So I don't know if you can offset your costs unless you're doing cold calling. I know a lot of people are doing ring lists, text blasting. So if you can do a low cost way of contacting a ton of people, I think it can definitely work. But it's a numbers game for everything. And I think you have to go through more numbers to get to the phone close.
And more infrastructure because each RVM, cold call, all that requires a system, a process, and management and et cetera.